One night, I will never forget this. I was at home, opened my Bible on my own for the first time outside of like a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And it was definitely the Holy Spirit, because I turned to Romans chapter 3, the place where everybody starts in their Bible reading plan, right?
Yeah.
And just read those verses of no one is righteous, no one does good, no one seeks after God. And just the conviction that I had, I was like, that is me.
Wow.
Like, I am not seeking after God. I'm content with doing my own thing and adding Jesus to the side.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment that I trusted in the Lord as Lord and Savior, and trusted in Jesus, and I was just never the same after that. Like, God just miraculously and just radically changed my life.
Welcome to Keystone Conversations, our podcast on the topics and issues important to the Keystone family. Our hope is to give insight, wisdom, and resources as you press on to know and follow Jesus. My name is Brent Minter. I am the lead pastor at Keystone. And today I have a super fun guest that I am introducing, for the most part, all of Keystone to. And I have with us Blake Shuecraft, who is our new church planting candidate. Welcome aboard and welcome to the podcast, Blake.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Super excited to be a part of the Keystone family.
Yeah, I mean, a lot going on here. And the people of Keystone have come to dearly love our church planting candidates. A long history of people who have gone and done incredible work. And now you're at the awkward, like, hi, I'm Blake. And, it's not awkward for us, but it's just like getting to know everybody and so this is an incredible way for us to get you introduced to the people of Keystone over the next couple of years. They will surely know you and your family and love you, and we will all cry when you leave this place.
Yeah.
But for now, it's the welcomes. It's the get to know you, and so that's what we're hoping to do with the podcast. So thanks for sitting down with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to have the conversation.
Love it. So, man, there's so many things, Blake, that I'm excited for our Keystone family to get to know about you. I've got to know you over interviews, over dinners, I was there when you got to your house, but I somehow happily got to skip out on unloading the truck.
That's okay.
I tried. For the record, I tried.
It was the effort that mattered.
I showed up, but you guys were fast and the truck was there earlier than I thought.
That's right.
We've spent time on the road. We spent time traveling a little bit together and just catching up. And man, it's just been a gift to get to know you, and excited for your time here at Keystone. But honestly, with eyes of faith, I'm excited more for the place God puts for in front of you to go plant and to take those steps.
Yeah.
So what we want to do today is there's some basic questions I think is just really helpful for our family, our Keystone family, to know about you and get to know you. So I'm just going to kind of ask some questions and we'll have conversation through it. But I think we can't know you without knowing your family.
Yeah.
So let's start from the get-go. Tell us you a little bit of where you're from. We'll get more details along the way, but then introduce us to your family as quick as possible.
Sure. So I'm married to Abby. We've been married for 8 years. Okay. We have a 6-year-old daughter, Remy, who is awesome. Yeah. She will tell people that she gets her normalness from her mommy and her funniness from her daddy.
That's awesome.
We're super excited, and just been an awesome journey, just growing a family and stuff. And we're from Kentucky. Okay. You might hear that every now and then come out. So
I love it. It's not so bad.
Okay,
it's not so bad. I've heard way worse.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll try to keep it at a minimum.
But that's kind of funny, right? We just planted in Kentucky, and you're coming from Kentucky.
Yeah. So grew up just maybe 2 hours from Bowling Green, where Matt Mabry was at. I have dear friends in Bowling Green, know Bowling Green well, and Western Kentucky University. So we grew up in Mayfield, Kentucky, from that area. And Murray State University is kind of close to that. Yeah. So that's where we're at. Abby's born and raised there. I'm kind of a transplant, but not far away. So,
wow, that's incredible. When we think about you and your family, something that's just so important to all of us and why we're doing what we're doing is God's written a story in our life.
Yeah.
So I love your story, and I would love for you to just kind of back us into and just help us understand your God story.
Yeah.
And I mean, and we can talk a little along the way and
Sure.
get there, but all the way from when did you come to know Christ to this calling in your life to plant a church and how we got introduced. So let's talk about where God met you and your wife and when you gave your life to Christ, and then we'll get along the path a little bit further.
Yeah, so a little background. I grew up in a faithful Christian home. My parents loved the Lord. My dad and mom both were youth ministry leaders in their church. My dad led the ministry. My mom served. He's a deacon at the church. My mom runs a women's ministry now. So been around just like church life and the gospel, heard that from a young age, but didn't know the Lord. I understood the gospel intellectually, but Jesus was not Lord of my life.
Wow.
And graduated from high school, joined the military in the reserves, wanted to do my own thing, ended up at Murray State, and then, like most college students, needed to get a job because I was broke. So I started working at a bank in Murray, Kentucky, and then they told me a few weeks later, hey, if you go to Mayfield, Kentucky, we will pay you more money and you'll get more hours.
Done.
Too easy.
Yeah. You had me at more money.
That's right. So I go to Mayfield. I'd never been there before, didn't know anyone, and there was this sweet older lady. Her name was Charlotte. And Charlotte came in and did not know me from anyone, and her first question was, you must be new here, and where do you go to church? And so she asked me that, and I said, I don't go to church anywhere, and she asked if I would come to First Baptist Church in Mayfield, and I said no.
A little old lady talking kindly to you, and you disrespected her.
I did. I feel bad about that. But she was so persistent, and I think that was so awesome. Like she did not know me, but she kept inviting me, and she asked me multiple times, and to the point I felt bad and was like, okay, I will go with you.
Wow.
I will show up. So I had not been in church in a long time, and went to First Baptist, heard the gospel, and God started to stir in my heart. And then at that point, Abby and I, we met at the bank that we both worked at. So we worked there. I saw her on the first day of work.
Wow.
And thought, wow, I want to go talk to her.
Fair.
Yeah. And
so more money and a cute girl.
Exactly.
That's a good thing when you're a young man.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I talked to her and she talked back. So that was even better. Like not only cute girl, but she actually responded. So that was great. So we started dating, and then it's part of the God story because the Lord really used that. I started going to church. I was hearing the gospel. Sometime along the way, I was content with just attending church and just being in that, but not really committed. And so Abby and I, we got engaged, and we really, in those moments, we were like, we need to take our faith seriously. Abby was also an unbeliever at that time. Her story, she came to the Lord a little bit before me.
Yeah.
But one night, I will never forget this. I was at home, opened my Bible on my own for the first time outside of like a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And it was definitely the Holy Spirit, because I turned to Romans chapter 3, the place where everybody starts in their Bible reading plan, right?
Yeah.
And just read those verses of no one is righteous, no one does good, no one seeks after God. And just the conviction that I had, I was like, that is me.
Wow.
Like I am not seeking after God. I'm content with doing my own thing and adding Jesus to the side.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment that I trusted in the Lord as Lord and Savior, and trusted in Jesus, and I was just never the same after that. Like God just miraculously and just radically changed my life.
That's incredible. I love a few things about that. Is that number one, man, God's word does not return void.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
It's alive. It changes everything. But I also love that there's an exposure to the gospel that, praise God, your family, right, invested. And also, can you imagine the amount of times your parents have prayed for you, leaving your house?
Oh, yeah.
And not engaged in your faith at all? The prayers that they probably prayed, and Charlotte was the answer to those prayers.
She definitely was.
And look what God did, man. And you coming to faith as an adult to where it was a choice. Like you didn't have to,
That's right.
That was not someone's force on you. Just a love, it's a lot of what happens around here as people come into faith as adults, and I love that. So how old were you when that happened?
I was about 20.
20?
Yeah.
Engaged. Okay, so coming to faith at 20, and here you are a little less than a decade down the road, and you're saying, I want to plant a church. Something happened, my dude. So let's get you into ministry now. Like where, so you got, certainly you're engaged, you find Christ. Get me to like early years of marriage, and how did you get in ministry?
Yeah, absolutely. So at First Baptist in Mayfield, we had there were some key guys in that church that were just really influential and just discipled me well. They took me under their wings, if you will, and just we were reading the Bible together. I was serving alongside them. They just started plugging me into ministry spots. So I was serving on like a security team, and then I was doing youth ministry, and just kept taking these little steps of obedience in that. And then eventually they were like, hey, do you want to teach a Sunday school class? And I was like, I have never done anything like this, but okay, I'll start doing that. And then I think it was 2018, we went on our first mission trip to Arizona. Our church had a key partnership where we worked with North American Mission Board missionaries. Yeah. And they were working with Native Americans and refugees.
Got it.
In the Phoenix area. We took them to this youth camp, this big mountainous camp, and I did what you shouldn't do. I read a book called Radical by David Platt on the bus on the way to the mission trip, which is not what you should do.
I know exactly what you're talking.
Yeah, so read that book, and just God was just doing something in my life in that time that looking back on is so cool. But I had this misconception of what ministry entails. Okay. I would have viewed them like these are the super Christians who are doing these extraordinary things. And they, these missionaries in Arizona, they are doing extraordinary things, and just sacrificial obedience is how I would describe it. Yeah. But they're normal people. Yeah. And so as I'm interacting with them, I'm like, these guys are normal. Like they're just people who are following the Lord. And, so I had a lot of questions about that. And asked one of the guys there, and I was like, hey, what would it look like for me to do something like this with my life? Yeah. And he got very excited, and he told me I need to sell everything and move to Arizona and be a youth pastor there. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's scary. Yeah. So one of the senior pastor, Wes, at First Baptist, he was like, hey, why don't you slow down? Why don't we just take this a step at a time, continue serving in the church, we'll start putting some more responsibility on you and just see what God does and just pray about this. So I was selected as a deacon, started serving as a deacon at First Baptist.
And Midwest context, our context, deacons is not as big of a deal at Keystone as it would be. Correct. In Southern churches, often deacon is synonymous with elder. Not always.
Not always, but very close.
But it has more authority, more roles than it would here. Here it's a very service-oriented. It's super important, but it's less authoritative than it is in a lot of churches.
Yeah, so much like that, I was in a deacon role, and we had a pastoral opening at First Baptist, and we were in a deacon meeting, and the senior pastor, lead pastor was describing like, hey, this is the person we're looking for in this position, and it was like something hit me right in the face, and I was like, you just described me. That's wild.
That's awesome.
And couldn't shake that. Went home, talked to Abby, and was like, hey, what do you think about this? And she was like, whoa, they just described you. And I'm like, oh no, like that's crazy. Yeah. So started walking forward, and then just the way God started organizing things to get into ministry. My day off was on a Wednesday. I come in, and one of the other pastors that had discipled me, his name's Paul, he just happened to be outside the church when I was going by, and he stopped me and he was like, hey, let's go to lunch. Like, do you care? My car is at the mechanic or something. Drop me off there. Doesn't matter. And we go to lunch. He's like, hey, we've thrown out your name to be the pastor here, like fill this associate role. I was like, oh man, that's wild. He was like, you should schedule a meeting with our lead pastor.
And just see what happens.
Yeah, and see what happens. So I call him, don't tell him why we are meeting, and then meet the next morning. And he's like, hey, as I was driving in this morning, I thought you'd be a great fit for our pastoral role. And I'm like, oh man, that's why I'm here. So yeah, God used that, stepped into ministry from there in 2019 and served at First Baptist since then. So came to faith there, served as a deacon there, and then on staff.
Yeah. I love that. You didn't feel all this information, but you walked away from a secular career that would have been an incredible start to career.
Yeah.
And so you coming to ministry was not just that, oh, this is something cool, I want to do it, but it came with sacrifice for you.
It did.
It came with a choice you didn't have to sell everything to move to Arizona, but you did have to make choices in your life. Am I going to step into what God has for me or keep going my way? And I think everyone's always making sacrificial decisions, but I think that sometimes for those of us that are in ministry, it requires that because the rest of your life is going to be, I'm going to serve King Jesus.
Yeah.
And I think it's formational in some of those early seasons to do that. So that's 2019. By the way, if you're counting, you're coming on to church staff in 2019. That was the first year we planted our first church.
Okay.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm just doing math. I just love to see how God raises up the next generation. Here, you're starting in ministry, and we've always been praying for laborers, and man, only the Lord knew that there was a guy down in Kentucky that he was raising up laborers, right, for the next thing. So, all right, so that's 2019. But you're sitting here ready to plant raising your hand to say, I feel like God's calling me to plant a church. So let's go next. Like, what's the next steps of that?
Yeah, so big shift in ministry, I would say, would be 2021. If you look at Mayfield, Kentucky, it's a very small town, but we had a very significant event in 2021 where an E4, E5 tornado just completely decimated the community. We were global news. We had people from all over the world coming to our church to see that. So you're talking about a legacy established church becoming completely mobile overnight.
Yeah.
And so God really used that experience to kind of open my eyes to like, what does a church plant look like?
Yeah.
It looked very similar to that in many ways. There's a lot of nuances there. But I mean, as far as we're meeting in schools, we go community groups, you're meeting in people's homes and businesses, and everything is just kind of up in the air and you're restructuring. And so God really opened our eyes to that. I think in those moments, I didn't know that at the time, but looking back, you're seeing like, okay, God, you were moving there. But I was a missions pastor, so I have a heart for the nations, just seeing people raised up, sent out, mobilizing us to the ends of the earth. That's a big part of what I want to do within ministry. And I thought the Lord would be calling us overseas as missionaries. Me and Abby both were exploring that, but our family situation didn't really allow those opportunities to happen. Yeah. So we started thinking, and how can we have the greatest impact on the kingdom and leverage our life for the gospel?
Totally.
And really, church planning is kind of where that fit in, and Salt Network was a huge piece of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So explain that. So how did you get connected to the Salt Network? Because again, missions to, okay, I need to plant a church, to you're sitting in Ankeny now. Keep following that path.
Sure. Yeah. So about a year ago, it was actually March of 2024, I heard Troy Nesbitt, who is the president of the Salt Network, do a podcast. And I think Reagan, who is also from Murray, Kentucky, heard about the Salt Network.
Through the same pain.
Through the podcast that
I love it.
We were listening to the same thing, which is so funny. And she's in WKU now at Anthem Hill. So I heard that podcast and was like, wow, the Salt Network is doing the things that we want to do and want to be about. We didn't do it formally, but we hosted a college group in our house every week. Like we're not in a college town, but we were close enough to the university that we could catch some students in that. And that was a big piece of us, like raising up people and discipling young men and women and trying to send them out was through our college group. Yeah. So, I heard Troy and then started thinking like, well, maybe this would be an option. And I sat on that for a good 10, 11 months, And then God just continued to work, and we're like, instead of this time of really trying to rush decisions, we started praying of like, God, what would you have us do? And the Salt Network kind of kept coming up, and what the Lord did is He, instead of us being the ones that go in our situation, God really showed us like, hey, we can have that impact by raising up laborers, sending them out into the harvest, like specifically reaching college students and raising them up, training them, and sending them to the ends of the earth.
Yeah.
And so I was like, the SALT Network's doing that.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Ryan Hill. I got connected with him, had a conversation. He was like, hey, you need to meet my friend Brent Mentor.
Yeah.
And I think his exact words were, he knows how to take Southern boys and train them here in the Midwest. So I was like, okay, this might be the guy I need to talk to. So
I love it. It's so fun. So Brian emailed me and he goes, hey, I have an interesting conversation for you. He's not our typical profile because you in some senses, most of our church planters have come directly through collegiate ministry.
Yeah.
But you, on the other hand, have had a lot of church experience that's very synonymous. What you had to do in the tornado, Keystone, I mean, I think you're underestimating what that tornado did and what their church had to go through and become a mobile church. And I mean, it was significant what you had to lead your church through. You kind of have a lot of those experiences and always have had a love for college student, but just never been on a campus. And so as he goes, so you weren't the normal profile, which doesn't mean it's a wrong profile, but he goes, you should have a conversation. And I honestly go, okay, I'll give him 30 minutes. And by the end of 30 minutes, I came out of my office, and I don't remember who was there. I was like, I'm having another conversation because it's like there was so much aligned, and it's like we can, Salt Company is not hard to train.
Yeah.
But having the right person with the right heart that wants to see the kingdom expand, you just fit all those categories. So we had a conversation, and it happened really quickly. And because we'd want to get you here to prepare you for August, because it was really important that you be here during a kickoff season of Salt Company, all that sort of stuff. So, man, it's incredible. And just before we move forward, just from my perspective, what I love about your story is First Baptist Mayfield. It's where you accepted the gospel. Someone invited you into that church. You gave your life to Christ in that church. They raised you as a deacon. They raised you as a staff member. And we at Keystone, in this sense, like we do send out church plants, but in your case, man, you're on loan to us from First Baptist Mayfield in my mind. Like we get to be a finishing school, and we're going to do everything we can to train and to equip you and to resource you. But a lot of honor is due at the local church in Mayfield that has just raised you in such an incredible way.
Yeah, it's a special place in our heart. I mean, leaving, it was so hard. That gospel goodbye that we talk about of just being sent from there, because we loved it there. Yeah. And I think that was a big part of this decision process of I could have stayed there, been comfortable, and just spent my time serving that community and been content. But our prayer this whole time was, God, we would rather be uncomfortable and in your will than comfortable and outside of it.
Yeah.
Like we want to do what matters. And it was so clear just through this process as we were leaning in, as Keystone was leaning in, that this is the place to be, even though it's hard. And that's Abby's hometown. Like our family, just everything was there. And so to move to Iowa to train, but man, the Lord has been so kind in that. Yeah. And it's so, it's been such a great experience.
So
transition.
We're going to get into some just fun details, but Keystone, let me just give a word to you for a moment. Like, you've come to love, and your love and care for our church planters has always been incredible. But just a reminder, keep doing that, because Blake and Abby and Remy have moved. They're saying yes to Jesus, and we can be the hands and feet of Jesus in this season where they're in transition. I mean, they took a 2-year position to move, and he doesn't know yet where he's going, so don't ask.
Yeah. We don't know.
We're like, we got time to figure that stuff out, and that's part of the 2-year process. But Keystone, continue to engage with the Shuecrafts and love them and pray for them as they move forward. So that's a little bit of a story. We're just starting the 2-year process. Next 6 months, 3 to 6 months, we'll hopefully know where you're going. Yeah. Then we'll be talking about all that, and people will be wearing the sweatshirts and the shirts from that place, and then we'll start raising up staff, and so all that's to come. But first is to introduce. So let's just get to know a little bit of like nonsense for you, just to get to know more about you. What's your go-to coffee order and your preferred coffee shop?
Oh, okay. I'm very simple, so a solid pour over or Americano, I'm good.
Good. All these frou-frou drinks, we need to save the world from their derelict.
Yes.
I mean, it's just people go to these nasty drinks. We're coffee people.
Yeah. Go-to coffee here. I've heard Blue Bean is really good. I haven't had the opportunity. I've been to Porch Light a few times. So if people have the good coffee recommendations, I'll have to send that my way. But Northern Vessel in Des Moines, very impressed with them. That will be a staple.
It's good. It's good. If you could instantly become an expert at any skill, what would it be?
Okay. That's a good question. So I think Garrett, did he say piano?
He did.
Okay. Yeah, I would go there. I'll give a different answer. I would say piano would be cool. The ability to like learn language quickly, like and just engage with people, like that would be awesome.
It's being a polyglot.
Yes.
That's what they call it. Like the guys that can just speak tons of languages.
That would be fantastic.
Acquire them pretty quick. I could not agree more.
Yeah.
It's a bucket list for me to be able to be fluent in a different language. And I still think I have the drive to learn a language, but the exposure right now is impossible. Like I've thought about getting other language learners just to practice, but it just takes time. Without living in a foreign context, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
At least at my age.
Yeah, I would love to do that, but it's like I can speak multiple language poorly.
Yeah.
You know? That's how it is right now.
Samesies. All right, let's talk about movies and film and all that sort of stuff. What is one of your favorite movies?
One of my favorites is The Usual Suspects. That's a very standard, which I think is Randy's favorite, which we connected over that.
That's
that
really
cool.
fun. Yeah.
Usual Suspects is a go-to. I like I'm kind of a broad spectrum of movies that I like. Comedies, the movie Tommy Boy or like Ace Ventura,
just
Dumb and
silly.
Dumber, just silly. I don't have to think about it. I can just enjoy.
Same.
Those I really like.
Same. The other day we watched a movie like that with our family, and my wife's like, "This is the dumbest thing," and I'm literally peeing on myself. I'm laughing so hard. Like
that's Abby with me. She's like, "Why do you like this?" I don't know.
Okay. What's the book that you've recommended to people the most? And it can't be radical.
Okay, it is not radical.
Okay, good.
My most gifted book, I would say, are there's a few. For guys or young men, I recommend Disciplines of a Godly Man by R. Kent Hughes, probably more than any other book.
Love it.
That one's a go-to. I always keep about 10 copies on my bookshelf, and just if a guy comes to me and he's somewhat new in his faith or he's like really wanting to grow his walk with the Lord, I'll give him that book. Another one would be Praying the Bible by Donald Whitney. Just changed my prayer life. Did that in seminary, and just praying the Psalms and praying like the Word of God back to the Lord is just so beautiful.
I absolutely love it. All right, let's talk about, you got a Kentucky boy.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, Iowans don't have a good stereotype of.
Okay.
Because that would be my assumption. I can't speak for all Keystone. We get true Southerners like Alabama or Georgia.
Right.
Like we get that. Kentucky's like, you are South.
Yeah.
But you're not like way down there South. So you have that, and now you move to the Midwest. So that's a big difference, right? You're going to be learning a lot of things. I'm going to ask two questions. What has been the biggest thing you've noticed at Keystone so far?
Okay.
And then the next question is, what have you noticed in Ankeny at large? Okay, like avoid just the church, not the church, but just as you've moved to the Midwest, what have you noticed there? So let's talk about what's something you've noticed at Keystone, totally different.
So at Keystone, first thing I noticed, it was first Sunday here, that everybody stays after the service. That is just radically different than just Kentucky, or I would say just Southern church culture. The fact people are there 10 minutes after the service just having conversations with one another is just wild to me. It's so impressive to watch, but it just speaks to the culture. Like people are just, the sense of community that people have here is just, it's really sweet. It's very special.
I'm really sad that what you didn't notice about Keystone is how fire my preaching was. That's offensive.
Hey, well, it is fire preaching.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time. So what about the Midwest in general, or not Ankeny? Like what have you noticed in Ankeny that's like, oh, that's different? And it's not right or wrong. It's just different.
Yeah. Me and Abby have talked about this a lot, and I think it'll surprise people because we've had conversations, and you guys don't know this. You are the slowest drivers ever. Like, it is crazy. Like, the speed limits make no sense. It'll be a 30 or 35 mile an hour speed limit on a 4-lane. And we're like, why? Yeah. Why is that? But yeah, you guys drive so slow compared to what we're used to.
Okay, that's fair. It's a you. Mayfield is different, but when we moved here to the Des Moines area, we moved from the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Oh, yeah.
And so traffic is nonstop. And traffic at high speed, it's either a million miles an hour or stopped like a parking lot. And it took us about 2 or 3 months, and Carrie and I were like, what? Have you noticed we're just not that stressed? And we just like, why? It just feels less.
Yeah.
And we had this ongoing conversation, and we kind of circled in on it's like, oh, there's no traffic.
Yeah.
There's no traffic. So there's no traffic, but it also goes really slow.
Yeah.
Like just way more chill.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time in Nashville and just
backed up traffic.
Insane compared to like driving through Des Moines or Ankeny, which is refreshing. That's nice. But you guys drive slow.
Yeah. So last one is, what is something that, one thing that people would be surprised to learn about you? Like they're going to get to know you over time. They'll hear your preaching, all that sort of stuff. But what's something that it would surprise them to know about you?
Yeah. Fun one. We'll do a fun one.
Okay.
I don't even think you know this, actually.
Bring it. I'm excited.
Okay, yeah. I have no sense of smell. None. Not a COVID thing, not nothing like that, but I have nothing.
You know who else is like a friend we were just with is that way.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild.
That's interesting.
Yep. So I had a wreck when I was 16, hit my head really hard on the pavement. And
you're done.
It's done. Like it hasn't come back.
So we could play a lot of really funny jokes on you. Like put really nasty things on your desk, and you're not going to know.
And I'll mess with people with it too. Like if anybody asks me like, hey, do you smell this? Like, does it smell good or bad? I will, just based on what they're wanting, I'll give them the opposite kind of reaction just to make them think they're crazy. So we'll do that. But just it's gone. Like haven't had it since I was 16.
Yeah. I'll tell you something else that people would be surprised to know. So today, it's August 25th when we're recording this, and we woke up a little chilly this morning.
Yeah.
And we all gathered together today at 10:02 to do our 10:02 prayers of staff. And Blake has his puffer jacket on, and it's August.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
Keystone, pray for my dude, because he is going to die in January and February.
Listen, Abby said like, hey, I'm excited to see how miserable you get in February because it's just going to be so bad. Like, it's like 100 in Kentucky. Like,
Yeah.
Who wears jackets in August? Like, I've never. This is going to be rough.
Here's the thing. You.
I do.
It was you. No one else was wearing a jacket.
I know, right?
You wear the jacket.
That's
now,
true.
other people were wearing hoodies or longs, crew necks, whatever, but we all died. So, Keystone, welcome Blake. Get to know Blake. You will be blessed to get to know him and continue to pray for him. And planting a church, preparing to plant a church is no joke. He's on a learning curve, but he's also on a learning curve, but has to start doing some things. And so I'll be praying for our brother, and hopefully our conversation today was helpful for you to get to know him. Thanks so much for being a part of our conversation today. If you'd like to know more about Keystone in general, hear sermons, or listen to more conversations, please visit keystonelife.com. Until next time, keep the conversation going.